July 14, 1944. 9:42 in the morning. Over Budapest. A B-17 Flying Fortress moved steadily through the sky, flying straight into one of the most dangerous airspaces in Europe. Inside the cockpit sat First Lieutenant Evald Swanson. He was 24 years old. He had already survived 17 combat missions. And today, luck was running out. Below him, German anti-aircraft guns surrounded the city. Railway yards. Oil refineries. Supply lines feeding the Eastern Front. The mission was simple on paper. Bomb the target. Turn back. Survive. But by 1944, bomber crews knew the truth. For every 10 men who climbed into a B-17, only 2 were likely to come home. A sky filled with fire. As Swanson's aircraft approached the target, the sky exploded. Black clouds of flak burst around the bomber formation. Metal fragments ripped through the air at lethal speed. The B-17 shuddered. The tail took hits. The wings were punctured. Still, the aircraft held formation. The bombardier released the bombs. 2 tons of explosives fell toward the city below. Then, everything went wrong. The nose disappears. A single 88mm shell struck the front of the aircraft. There was no warning. No time to react. The explosion erased the entire nose section. The bombardier. The navigator. The glass panels. The instruments. Gone. In one violent instant, the front of the bomber simply ceased to exist. Cold air at 30,000 feet rushed inside. The temperature was far below zero. Blood, smoke, and debris filled the cockpit. Swanson looked forward, and saw open sky where his instruments used to be. No controls. No instruments. No manual for this. The control yoke was gone. The instrument panel was gone. No airspeed. No altitude. No artificial horizon. The aircraft pitched upward sharply, close to stalling. By all logic, the bomber should have fallen out of the sky. But it didn't. Because something incredible happened. The crew becomes the flight controls. Running through the aircraft were steel control cables. Normally hidden. Normally protected. Now they were exposed, whipping violently in the wind. Crew members rushed forward. They grabbed the cables with bare hands. When they pulled left, the bomber turned left. When they pulled back, the nose lifted. When they released, the aircraft dipped. The men weren't flying anymore. They were physically holding the airplane together. Another hit. 2 minutes later, disaster struck again. Another shell hit one of the engines. The engine exploded. Oil sprayed across the wing. The propeller seized. Now the B-17 was flying on 3 engines, with half its nose missing, over enemy territory. The formation continued ahead. Swanson's aircraft fell behind. And then, it was alone. The decision no pilot wants to make. The bomber was losing altitude slowly. The tail section began to flex dangerously. The crew knew what that meant. If the tail failed, no one would survive. There was only one option left. Bail out. One by one, crew members jumped from the aircraft. Each time someone left, control became harder. Fewer hands on the cables. Less stability. But staying meant death. The last man. Eventually, only 2 men remained. Swanson. And his co-pilot. They exchanged a look. The co-pilot stood up and jumped. Now Swanson was alone. 1 man. 1 dying bomber. No instruments. No crew. He stayed just a little longer. So the others could land farther away. Then he made his move. The final escape. Swanson unbuckled. The aircraft immediately began to dive. He fought his way to the exit. The ground rushed up below. At the last possible moment, he jumped. His parachute opened violently. Behind him, the B-17 tore itself apart in midair. Nothing survived the crash. Capture and survival. Swanson landed hard in trees. His leg broke on impact. German soldiers found him within minutes. He was treated, captured, and sent to a POW camp. Months passed. Then years. Finally, in 1945, American forces liberated the prisoners. Swanson survived. So did most of his crew. Against all odds. Why this story matters? This was not a miracle machine. It was not advanced technology. It was human courage. Men holding steel cables at 30,000 feet. Men refusing to give up. Men keeping each other alive. This is why we remember them. If you respect the courage of World War II aircrews, hit like. If you believe these stories should never be forgotten, subscribe to War Era Records. And comment below. Where are you watching from? Because history lives only if we keep telling it.